Hi, welcome to my video on the pattern for the derivative of ax to the n. This is a monomial and it's x raised to the n power, and n is any whole number. We're not dealing with fractions or negatives right now. The pattern for the derivative of ax to the n. Well, if the f of x equals a, the derivative, that's a constant term. So therefore, the derivative of this is a 0. And let's go down through each one of them. And so right here we have linear. So the derivative of a to the x is a, because a is the slope. The derivative here is 2ax. The 2 goes in front, and this decrease by 1. And right here we have a 3ax squared. Cubic goes to a quadratic. 3 goes to a 2. And right here we got the fourth power, so it's 4 times ax, so 4 goes to a 3. And we have the fifth power, so it's 5 times ax to the 4. So let's see what we have. The a, let's look at the f of x. This a is understood to be ax to the 0. So we get so the power here is a 0, so it's 0, ax to the 0, and let's take away 1. So that's the derivative, which gives us the 0. Now we have a to the x, so that's a to the x is a to the x. A times x is ax to the 1. So the 1 goes in front, a, and this 1 decreases. So we get 1 times ax to the 0, which is 1 times ax to the 0 is understood to be 1. So that gives us an a. So you notice that this is a 1, and they end up with just an a. The x decreases the power, it goes down by 1. So right here we have, this is ax squared. So we have a 2ax to the 2 minus 1. So that's 2ax. So again, the 2 goes in front, and this power goes down by 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So the derivative of ax squared is 2ax. And we have an ax cubed. So the 3 goes in front, ax to the 3 minus 1, so it's 3ax squared. And we have ax to the 4th, and its derivative, the 4 goes in front, the power goes in front, and we get an ax to the 4 minus 1, so it's a 4ax cubed. And we have ax to the 5, so it's a 5 times ax to the 5 minus 1, so it's 5ax to the 4th. And just notice the 4 goes in front, so this 4 goes to a 3, 5 goes in front, so this 5 goes to a 4. This is the 3, 3 goes in front, the 3 becomes a 2 because you're taking away 1s. But what I want to also point out is that the cubic, which is the 3, becomes a quadratic. Notice here, quadratic becomes a linear. Right here, this is the degree 1, so this linear becomes a constant. And the degree of a constant is 0, because a constant is a horizontal line whose slope is 0. And this is the linear, the slope is a. Remember, the derivative is the slope. So the pattern for the power is that the n goes in front, a, and this power decreases by 1. So notice right now, my exponents or powers of the x are whole numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Later on I'll do when they're negatives and when they're fractions of rational numbers. Okay, let's continue. Let's do some examples. So the derivative of the f of x is 2 times 4x, so the 2 minus 1. So that's 8x to the 1, or just x. The derivative here is 4 times negative 5, and the x is decreased by 1. So we get negative 20x cubed. So notice I'm putting down, taking 1 away just to show you. So if you want, you can just say 4 times negative 5 is a negative 20, and that becomes a 3. So you don't have to show it. I'm just showing you this multiplication here, how it works. So that's a 6 times 2 over 6, and the 6 decreased by 1. So 6 is canceled, so I get a 2x to the 5. And we have a 3, and I got a negative 1/3, and the x3 decreases by 1. So it cancels out. I get a negative x, negative 1, negative x squared. And I have a 5 times 2x, and a 5 decreases by 1. So that's a 10x to the 4. And an 8, negative 3 over 7, and the x decreases by 1. Negative 24 over 7, x to the 7. And another one, last one, 10, bracket 4/5, and x to the 10 minus 1. So that becomes 5 into 10 goes 2, so that's an 8x to the 9. So a 10 becomes a 9, an 8 becomes a 7, a 5 becomes a 4, 3 becomes a 2, 6 becomes a 5, 4 becomes a 3, 2 becomes a 1. So this power moves in front, and this exponent right here decreases by 1. So that's the pattern. And I wanted to develop that pattern. Here we go. If you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained, just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.